Yes, y'all. Yes, y'all. Welcome to another episode of Sneaks, Rhymes, and Life. I am your host, Lionel McDonald. First shout out to my boy Benzo. We're rocking the golden era hoodie tee or a hoodie. So you know what that means. We got to talk some golden era stuff. So today's episode will be on underground groups. So not just being underground or not totally being accepted by mainstream, but I think we're going to go the route today of who are a couple or a few acts that I just don't think they got their props. They're a little underrated when we look at their contribution to hip hop and ultimately just what I think in terms of how good they are. So thanks for everyone listening to Sneaks, Rhymes, and Life in the past. We're rolling up on 90 episodes since I started at the beginning of February. So it's an amazing journey. Got lots more content. It keeps you up at night, but it's a lot of fun. And I think just the feedback that I'm getting back from so many of you on how you're thoroughly enjoying the podcast and things you want to hear, I think continues to inspire me to do it. And it's been just such a great thing, even from a mental perspective of being able to talk to all of you, whether you're on YouTube and you see me on the video version. So hit the like, hit the subscribe button so that way you don't miss an episode if you're a YouTube person, or if you just like to do it on you're doing it at work and you get it up on Spotify or Apple or Google. I appreciate everyone subscribing and listening. So we're going to talk about, again, underrated hip hop groups. And some of these groups, I would tell you for sure that they've gotten their shine, but probably not enough. I would tell you that some of these groups, when we look back at the time in history with hip hop, probably we just haven't given them enough credit in terms of how they helped mold the 90s into where we are today. So I will start with a group that, although they only produced really one LP or one EP and two full-length albums, the quality that they were able to produce, and then, particularly one of the members going on to creating some other amazing music with some other artists, is none other than those that I still remember walking to my wedding ceremony listening to Troy, is Pete Rock and CL Smooth. So we know that Pete Rock and CL Smooth, both out of New York, more so the Mount Vernon area. Actually, Pete Rock was cousins with the late Heavy D. Rest in peace, Heavy D. But this group came out with two amazing albums, Mecca and the Soul Brothers and The Main Ingredient. And I think we could easily do a whole episode on which album was better. Personally, I think I really resonated with Mecca and the Soul Brother, but another dope album was their follow-up, which was The Main Ingredient. I think, from a lyricism point of view and CL Smooth, we could do a different episode on underrated MCs, and maybe that will come in the future. But this guy, from wordplay to flow to captivating and catching multi-other audiences, I think his rhyme style is so unique and so special, and then he has arguably one of the 3 or 4 best producers we've ever heard in hip-hop. Like, he is in the Dilla, RZA, Kanye, Dr. Dre, DJ Premier conversation. Yeah, I said more than 3 or 4. I said probably my 5 or 6. So, but I think that the dynamic between the two of them was special. I know there were creative differences. They went their separate ways. They have done songs together since, more so on Pete Rock's projects. But Pete Rock and CL, definitely a group that just doesn't get enough credit. Again, Troy, which was done after a close person in their circle that passed away, is still one of the most timeless hip hop songs we've ever heard. So number 1 on the list, and I wouldn't say I'm not ranking them, but I'm just going to give you 5 or 6, but they would definitely be on the list. Number 2 we got to go down south and talk about my boys from North Carolina, Big Pooh, and obviously rapper Pooh and Fonte, otherwise known as Little Brother. So from the awakening to one of the great stories or feelings when you listen to it cover to cover, and I still would tell you this is a top 20 album all time, being the Mental Show. I would definitely put a Little Brother on this list. And what made it also so magical that these two together, but they have another great producer in Ninth Wonder on the board. So salute to Little Brother. They did a few albums. They did one again, rap groups break up more so than I think any other genre, and then sometimes they get back together like EPMD. But Little Brother definitely made their stamp and a feel and a vibe. And I know that we had to get from Ghetto Boys to DJ Quick, and then we got Outcast and the Dungeon Family, kind of to bring up the South until we got to TI. But somewhere along the lines, we got Little Brother out of Carolina, and a group that just doesn't get enough credit. Both are uber talented when it comes to emceeing, and glad that they were able to bless us. I got some friends, both Nick and Mike Woodrow are two of the biggest Little Brother fans, and to hear them is one thing on record or on CD, but to see how they interact and how they are live is pretty amazing. So those boys, Little Brother, definitely on the list. Number 3, although I would say that they're easily a top 10 group of all time, like they should be considered a top 3 or top 4, from production to storytelling to concept of an album and really captivating an audience and bringing you in the whole thing, is none other than De La Soul. And I arguably say that maybe the most underrated and be ahead of his time. Like, I still don't think people get what Posthumous is saying. He is, I would say arguably the leader of the Native Tongues family. From, you could say he's the godfather, and really helped, both Jungle Brothers, Queen Latifah, and obviously Tribe Called Quest is probably the most popular of all of those groups. Really helped put them on. It was the first show I ever saw was De La Soul opening for Tribe Called Quest, when both had albums out in late '93 and toured in '94. So salute to De La. Number 4 on my list. Don't get enough credit, but both artists separately are amazing. And the album Dog Food, done by Dog Pound, so salute to Corrupt. Particularly, he's arguably one of my favorite West Coast artists. And obviously Daz Dillinger is his partner, but salute to Dog Pound in being an amazing group. Really helped transform it and carry that West Coast wave beyond what Snoop was doing. And obviously Death Row was a force, but they were definitely a part of what was happening. Geez, I still know, New York, when that hit with when they launched that song. And I was a huge hip hop East Coast fan at that time. And I live in Toronto, but I love New York hip hop, and I felt under attack. I totally felt the vibe that they were delivering, but they've been creative. Both are incredibly underrated lyricism, uncreatable lyricism, but them as MCs and how they command the stage. If you've never seen them perform live, they are pretty amazing, and definitely get my stamp of approval. Number 5 that I got on the list here, we're going to go down south again. We're definitely going to capture the energy and the essence from the late 80s until, we got almost 20 years later until we had the untimely death of Pimp C, and that would obviously be the Underground Kings, otherwise known as UGK. Both are incredible MCs on their own. We've seen some of the great things that Bun B has done post the group, but they can spit, the way that they captivate an audience, both in and how, whether it's rhyme style or being able to just convey a story. Both were special MCs, and Bun B continues to do his thing on any 16 that he jumps on, and spits a track. He's totally dope. And if you really never got a chance to listen to UJK, you need to get on some stuff. You need to take some time and really listen to what these underground kings have been saying. And then I think maybe arguably my favorite of all super groups that were put together, this group, because of their talent and top to bottom, there may be never a group that has had 4 MCs spit harder than these guys. So these are this is the bonus one if I was giving a top 5, and that would be Slaughterhouse. So we got personally one of my favorites. I've loved Royce the 5'9" for a long time, but Joel Ortiz, Crooked Eye, which is probably the best spitter in the whole group, arguably. And then a personal favorite of mine as well. I wouldn't say he was a one-hit wonder, but an album that I still play today, which would be Joe Budden's Jump Off, and an original OG album. I still remember going to that show, me and the crew all wearing Vince Carter jerseys representing our hood, and like it was an intimate stage, and we just literally called out songs and Joe Budden would just spit them in the order that we were asking. I remember we were screaming, "Give us number 1." And he's like, "What?" Someone said, "Number 1? You know that joint?" Said, "Yes, give us number 1." And he rocked it better than I ever could have imagined how it sounded. So each MC is talented in our own right, but then to put them on songs together, and we got like 4 albums before Joe Budden moved on to other things, and the group kind of went their separate ways. Will we ever get another Slaughterhouse album? Probably not. But I think the reality is that the group is like top to bottom, arguably the best lyrical group that we've ever heard. So salute to Slaughterhouse. And yeah, that's my underrated top 5 groups, with Slaughterhouse being the bonus. So again, everyone, thank you for listening. Much appreciated. Love to talk it up hip hop. I know I got a couple other episodes that I'm trying to put together, but appreciate everyone listening. Hit the subscribe button, share it with a friend, and stay tuned for the next episode. Peace.